Hello and welcome back to the channel. Yes, we're back at CCT. See that guy right there? My work schedule's crazy and I don't get a lot of time off anymore because, well, I use it all in the summer to make content and enjoy, family vacations with the family, Family vacations are important. Family first, right guys? Family first. If you haven't already, make sure you check out allbeastprojects.com. We got new merch on the website and AMSOIL, Beast Synthetics. All that stuff helps support the channel. But I'm actually going to turn this vlog over to these guys right here. Yeah. And they're going to film most of this video.
Hey guys, Andy, Chester County Trans. Say hi to Rich.
Hey guys.
So we're going to go check out Pete. He's starting work on differential job. Ram 1500, and we are going to a 392 ratio. So the interesting thing that we learned here about the 1500 is that the independent front suspension that it has really makes it difficult to accommodate a lot of different ratios. So what we actually end up getting is a whole new front differential. It has new gears in it already. It's pre-assembled, so we're not doing anything with it other than installing the front. Now the rear though is more traditional, to remove the gears, put in some new bearings, the whole bit. So I figure we come on over here, say hi to Mr. Pete.
How you all?
Say hi, Pete.
No, goodbye.
Goodbye. This here is the front unit that we're looking at. So that will be completely removed and replaced with a brand new one. So, and believe it or not, probably an interesting thing about it is that the ring gear is apparently riveted on.
Good to know.
I mean, what sense does that make?
We have no ability to rebuild it.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of not nice. But back here, the rear is just completely traditional. So we'll be getting that cover off and getting everything apart and getting her done. 392, baby, here we go. So for any of you that want to try to tackle this maybe at home or on a buddy's lift or something like that, Pete came up with a really cool trick. So we're gonna go over that with you here real quick. Typically when you would be doing this job, you have to remove this axle shaft. It needs to come out of the way. And usually when you do that, you would be removing this whole knuckle out at the end here. But come on over here to Pete, and he'll show you what he decided to do.
The axle free and the pry bar. You disconnect the tie rod end. Make sure your brake line is disconnected because it's going to swing. You don't want to pop your speed sensor wire. This is a pretty stout brake line. You're not probably going to break it, but why stress it? To pop this, you could probably get brutal and just hit it with a sledge, and that'd do the trick. You find one of these, place it on top. Get it tight and apply torque.
With an air gun.
Or electric.
Or electric. See guys, that's why we always wear safety glasses. Or prescription glasses in Pete's case.
Yes. There it is.
So now we're able to keep all this here on. We don't have to take this whole mess off. Because if we were doing that, we would have to remove caliper, which means disrupting the brake hose, the brake line, which means we have to bleed it afterwards. So this is a slick way to achieve a relatively difficult task in a much more straightforward way.
You could hang the caliper.
That is true. You could hang the caliper. You could. Now, if we were reading the shop manual, though,
They probably would say.
They would probably say to do that. Yeah.
I know what you can do with the shop.
Yeah. Got a little bit of a fun fact for you here, guys. Something that we do see a lot on Dodges. So you see our stub shaft here, and hopefully you can see that there is an O-ring there. And that O-ring is designed to keep water out of there, okay? And what can happen over time is water gets in there, those splines there will get chewed up something wicked. And these splines in there, which aren't as easy to see, will get chewed up something wicked. So when we go back together with this, we're gonna make sure we use a whole lot of grease to make sure that O-ring's healthy. We're just getting the last bolts off where it's mounted. You can see there's nut bolt tapping right there. Pete's working working on. See, we have some fasteners right up here. There you go, those boys right up there. I'm gonna get those ones off. And then we just have these two right here. And then that puppy is coming on out. They're getting ready to take her out of the hole. Let's go check it out.
I'll undo this one. Push up a little.
In case anybody's wondering, that handsome man there, that's Tomas.
All right. Ready?
There you go.
This way.
Okay. There we go.
Got everything? Yep. All right. Go right down the floor.
Just so you guys know, there is a 6-inch lift on this, so some of these brackets and stuff, you know, that we're looking at here and up here, that, you know, won't necessarily be in your application if it's just a stock truck. Hey Pete, you know why orphans don't like to play baseball, right?
Orphans?
Orphans, yeah, why they don't like to play baseball?
Because they can't get home.
Because something wrong with you, Pete. It's up in there. It's a little loose right now because we're still bolting it. You see we have just one bolt right there holding it. Just that one up there holding it while we get, there's some shims that are part of it between the bolts. But we just about got it. Get these axles on. We'll make sure they're good and greased, ready to go. Get these knuckles of the control arm on. Tie rod end on. And come back around here. We got the drive shaft here. Again, because this thing has a lift kit, there is this spacer plate. And it lives right here. So we'll make sure we put that back. So we're getting this axle installed here. You can see if you look close, there's some silver anti-seize on there, kind of like we were talking earlier. Make sure we get it on there. There we go. Got her on there real good like. Real good like, right Pete?
Yeah. Real good.
We've got the whole front end done. Obviously tires aren't on, but I'll show you, walk you through it. We got our control arm, hold it back on. Come around the front here. 392. There's that drive shaft spacer I was telling you about. In case anybody's wondering why that's necessary, because this is a 6-inch lift, the drive shaft would be too short in the front. We gotta add a little bit of length to her. Famous last words, right? On to the rear. The rear. Look at her. It's like looking down a tunnel. We'll see, guys, pretty soon these tires are going to be off. And we're going to be looking at some wet, nasty gears. Opening up our differential parts for this 392 ratio rear and the Dodge 1500 we're building today. Pete's not feeling the best, but he's being a real trooper. Pushing through it. It's that time of the year, you know. You get these cold snaps, people get colds. We've all been through it. Dana original. So all this stuff here came from Rockman Standard Gear. There's a little chart that they sent along with it. Gives you, you know, the different specifications, which is a handy chart to have. We usually end up just throwing these things out because you can imagine we have millions of them, but it's always good to have an extra one. It's kind of like a paraffin-soaked wax paper that's wrapped around there, just obviously designed to keep things from rusting during storage and during shipment. Look at that. Pinion with an axle nut. Now that's a little unusual, guys. It's not too often they come with an axle nut on them, but there's always a first for everything. And there you have it, a ring gear.
47 by 12.
392. There it is. So that's our ratio, guys. Cover is off. And we got some old gear oil coming out there. You can get a good look at those gears. It's a nice pattern. All in all, it's a nice pattern on there. Decent gear set. So that carrier is going to be coming on out of there pretty soon. So even though we are going to be going together with new bearings, new gear set, it's just not a bad course of action to get at least a preliminary backlash measurement. We'll be going to setting it up with the new gears with the new spec. So just in case you guys probably don't know, every gear set has a different backlash spec for new or old gears. That's kind of, it's true and not entirely true. Whenever you're reusing old gears, you want to set that backlash back to what it was originally, because the new spec doesn't apply anymore. So you're not going to find a spec per se for old gears, but it inherently does have one, and that's why you should check it beforehand. So we're kind of doing this just somewhat for funsies and just as a good procedure. It's actually quite a bit, like 12 or 13.
Yeah. That's kind of large.
Yeah, it's kind of on the high side.
That's 12.
I guarantee you it would be tighter than this. I think some of them, what, are 12 to 15 feet?
Yeah.
The two most common specs that we run across, I would say, is 6 to 9, 10 to 12, or 12 to 15. Those are the most common 3 setup backlash specs. And most of these Dodges are on the tighter side. They're usually in the 6 to 9 category. So it's a little bit surprising to see this, but again, this is a newer product. We're typically building Dodge rears from the 90s and 2000s, not quite 2017, 2018 on a regular basis anyway. So interesting, right? You learn something new every day. Kind of speculating about that measurement, we went ahead and cleaned all the gear oil off, and we're going to remeasure to see where we're at.
It's about 11, maybe 11 and a half.
Maybe 12. So yeah, still on the high side.
Yeah.
Even without the gear oil in there. Get them axles out of there. All the way through. So now that those axles are out of the way, we'll be able to get this carrier and ring out. We have to back off on what are called spanners. It's the mechanism used by Dodge. If you can see the little lines in there, that's actually a round component, has threads in it, and it turns in and out, and it's what's used to move the carrier left and right inside the housing. You can also watch in this little hole here, and you can kind of see things turn a little bit. So that's what Pete's got, a long tube with a special end on it. And the idea is he's just taking a little pressure off the carrier so we can get this carrier out. A little bit on each side. What they're used for is to set preload on the bearings, as well as establish your backlash. You can kind of see it in there. It's a little tricky to get it keyed into the actual spanner. So that looks like you got it. Let's see. Ooh, that one was good and tight. There, we got a little motion.
That looks almost like too much drag.
How loose is the
Other one's loose.
The cap?
The cap's loose.
Yeah, we're gonna get these bearing caps off, carrier bearing caps off, and at that point we'll be able to pry that carrier out. Our mild concern about the spanner on the passenger side there was a little unexpectedly stiff. It's coming out of the hole here pretty soon. Always got something crazy going on. And it's a Friday. I'm super pumped about that. Steve's supposed to be coming over a little later, check in on things.
I don't like that.
What are you seeing there, Pete?
It looks a little boogered.
Yeah, like the spline's kind of maybe stretched a little during initial build.
I wanted to take all the backlash out of that side. I didn't want to take any off of the driver's side, and now I've got to.
Right. So the way we typically do it, guys, is we like to leave one spanner nut more or less in place. We just give it a little quarter turn to loosen it. This way when we go back in with the carrier, its location is more easily established because we have kind of a set point. So it's just going to make a little bit more work for us here in the long run, but it's not the end of the world.
Almost.
It'd be helping you keep on trying to get the carrier coming out. That's all I'm trying to get here. Now we've moved it to special tool number 567. It's called a milk crate. We're going to use that to transport her next door so we can get her all built up. If you recall, the passenger side spanner was a little tighter and we were a little bit concerned about it. And if we take a close look here, that there, right here, this guy, that is a thread, presumably from the spanner nut itself. So this project has hit an unexpected speed bump. And obviously this is a factory assembly and we're gonna need to get a spanner. Bummer. This thread we have here, I'm gonna show you guys. Pete's gonna go ahead and turn this spanner, which this is the spanner here. I'm gonna have him turn it in and you will see that this spanner is gonna lock up. It's gonna get jammed on that thread. So that's turning it in. You see it just got jammed. And now it just broke off, cut itself off.
Want to try?
Here it is.
Keep going?
See if it'll keep going, yeah. Nope, maybe we broke it off. This appears, this here does appear to be a thread from that particular spanner. I have to say, guys, this is the first time we've come across this, you know, factory assembled differential that the stripped spanner. And there it is. So here it is. Let's see if we can, yeah, you can see right there. If you look closely, I don't want things to go out of focus too much. You can kind of see where the thread's missing right there in the middle of the spanner. And that is,
This is a little booger, but we can fix that.
that's a problem. Yeah, does that look okay?
Actually, it's from...
Is it?
It's from the
Are you
carrier.
sure? I mean, it looks like there's, oh, you know what, this actually is rolled over.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So that's a rolled over.
Yeah.
So not missing, but rolled over. It's actually left, it looks like it left the case right here on the very outside most. Man, it's so hard to get this to focus.
The last thread.
Yeah, the last thread. I guess I keep my hand out of the way there. Shoot.
There's only 4 threads there.
You know, this is just the kind of unexpected stuff that happens. You know, there's never any way to know, and you just deal with these problems as they come. So, figure out something.